Hey guys, welcome back to another episode with the 2016 Mustang and the 1963 Ford F100 unibody that's channeled sectioned over the top of that Mustang. Last episode, if you didn't see it, check it out. I'll try to put a link up here. We are going to continue on the interior, so let's kind of go through some of the stuff we were working on and what we're going to get done, hopefully finishing up majority of that sheet metal work on the interior. All right, so what have some of the things we've been working on? You can kind of see off camera there's some wiring connections. Those are the rear speakers for the car. I extended one wire, ran it through that loom. You can see it's up in that corner, little plug hanging. That'll be the speaker. I'll put another one here. That's the white plug there. We're going to extend and run through the loom and get up to the corner over here, so we can use those factory Mustang sound system. There'll be a tweeter up here we're going to extend up there. There'll also be a windshield wiper sensor I'm going to install in the middle of the dash up there. So then when it rains, they're like automatic wipers, they'll just run. That should be pretty sweet. 63, they didn't have that technology back then, so that's one of the things I'm wanting to integrate into the build, is all that really modern technology with the old car, or old truck. So what we kind of got going yesterday, or not yesterday, but the last episode, was we built these panels in the truck. I attached them, I painted them black just so they wouldn't flash rust. I got to clean up, I drilled a hole here and I put nutserts in. You can kind of see in there's a nutsert. I did not line it up correctly, it was all angled. So re-screwed a nutsert here, and then used some existing nuts that were in there and just screwed some screws into them, drilled the holes. So it looks pretty good though. Remember, we're gonna end up putting probably like a 1/4 inch foam and then leather wrap, white stitching, so it kind of matches the stitching of the, cool dude, matches the stitching or this piping of the seats. But the console radius here we worked on looks good. Today, we're gonna kind of pull this dash out. I'll probably finish tacking this little, I think it's a 3/8 inch I did on the bead roller, could be a 1/2 inch. I continued and made another strip with that bead roll profile, and we're going to extend along the bottom of the dash there. So there's some stuff we have to trim down on this bracketry, so I can extend that bead there, set the dash here, and then we'll continue on and build the other side right there of this center console, which houses most of the infotainment stuff. That should be, and then we're also going to drop down the sheet metal around the console down and secure it into these brackets down here. So hopefully we will get going on that. I made the dash too. We may build the little box in here. I'll probably wait because I'm going to extend this up and then we'll fit that in and make sure it clearances the door and all that good stuff. But I want to get all this dash finalized with that little curved radius with this profile here, and then build this side of the console and the plate over there. Once we kind of get that done, the majority of the dash stuff should be pretty tied in, where we can start finalizing the dash, and that's not going to come off for the upholsterer. So I made sure I do it myself. We'll see, we'll look into it. I like doing everything myself. That's why I'm out here. I enjoy just working on it and learning. But the console and the other panels will all be removable. I can take to do upholstery, so we'll see. I don't know yet, but let's get going. What's your name?
I'm coming up first.
You're coming up?
Yeah, because I'm on instructor.
Nice.
But I'm just gonna train. This is the one where you train.
Oh, let's see this thing. That's your train and run for the monster truck show? Wow. That's pretty impressive. So we got the bottom edge, little bead roll, 3/8 inch on the bottom here. Looks pretty good. We just ground down these welds. We tacked up and finish welded everything, so it's all welded through. Cleaned it up a little bit. Still have some cleanup to do. Obviously, this is still rough, but overall, you guys can see, man, she looks pretty good. Got the transitions. You know, we had to kind of cut down this profile here, this profile here, welded that in. We're gonna smooth this all out with filler. There's a nice little arch radius here. It kind of transitions to here. Again, it's rough, but overall it's definitely looks real uniform, looks good, and it's something I think we can work with. So I'm pretty happy. Let's get it set up in the truck and see what it looks like. So we also cut down, you can see this, all the support structure for the dash is kind of what we're working around, and I cut down this bulkhead. It kind of stuck out here and interfered. I want the dash pushed in as close as we can, and we can build panels off of it down here. So we trim this down. Let's just fit this dash up and see what she looks like all fit in, and then maybe when we do filler, what I like to use is this all metal. So it's a huge pain in the ass to work with, but it's way better than plastic filler in my opinion. Like it's way more rigid. It lasts super long. It's not going to crack or expand or contract if you put on right. So we'll probably do some of that on there just to get the major stuff and smooth it down and see how it looks. And then the final filler, you know, we'll feather some stuff in with some bodywork stuff. Obviously we're not going to use this. The company makes a carbon fiber, inlay those factory Mustang gauges. That would look good. So it's kind of pricey. I think it's worth it. We'll see. I'll look into it. Let's mount this dash in here, see how it fits, see how the clearances look. If they're good, maybe we'll continue to kind of clean up that dash and work through that console contouring piece and all that stuff. So let's do it. So we'll go about there. Let's go about right there. Good enough for the girls I date, I guess. That'll work. Let's cinch this down here so I can kind of step back and take a look at her. I think looks pretty good though. While we're letting that set up, check this out. Beautiful, well, kind of. We're out here early in the morning and the sun is just coming up over the mountains. I like it. Kind of can see it. Maybe we're a little bit early, but gotta love it. So let's get back in the shop, let this stuff set up. We'll sand her down, fill those holes, spray paint it black. Sure. Let's tape off this console. Start making a template, kind of like we did over here on a previous video. We'll tape off a template, cut the template, tape off, and then stencil out a piece of metal for it. See if we can bend her up with our fancy Harbor Freight English wheel. right, guys. Sweet. So we got a lot of bands. We got ins and outs, and just bent this one over the welding table. So I don't know if you guys can see this on camera. A lot of different bends and angles. The tricky thing with the English wheel from a super beginner is when you mark these up where you want to start your radiuses, you got to realize the radius die on the bead roller is on the bottom. So if I want this to go in, I make sure I mark it. You got to transfer all your marks to the other side so you're switching it and rolling it the correct way. I know that sounds really obvious. Not so obvious if you don't think about it, if you haven't done English wheel. So messed with that a few times, but we got a lot of curves in this thing, and let me show you. It looks pretty dang good. So I think we're matched up pretty nice. Let's go look at it. All right, so let's take a peek here. Got some clamps in place. But man, I don't know if you guys can see, it looks good. It fits these contours. It's broken there. It's got a radius there. Radius is back tight in the console there. Only thing I don't like is you can see there's a little bit of a curve there. I want that to be straight, so when we do box that in, it matches. It doesn't have radius. It'll be straight vertical here, vertical there, and we'll patch it in. But overall, I mean, fitting this radius, man, it looks good. The thing we want to kind of focus on, or I wanted to focus on, was running this panel as deep into here as possible. That way all these vertical panels I'm running here are going to butt up to this panel, and it's going to be seamless. So that's the plan. And that's the brunt of the interior. We have to tie it into the factory console, which just the top of it is on there, or the bottom. So we're going to put the top on and kind of look at it, and we'll try to reupholster everything the same color so it all blends in. But we'll have to tie in where this console ends here, and the modern Mustang consoles here, so it's all seamless. Let's move on. Let's make those those flat panels, those verticals on the face there, and then maybe we'll clean everything up and paint everything black and see what it looks like. Alright guys, we're working on the panel, kind of going around the console. Have some nice, or I mean the steering column, kind of have some nice contours here. This kind of bumps out, and then I don't know if you can see that. Same thing with this radius here we made with the bead roller. What I messed up on is I need to do a break, 90-degree sharp break right here. I should have done that before I made this radius. I think we can work it, but same thing up top here. We'll do a break along the top 90 and on the side 90. So got my trusty assistant with me. Make sure, is my hair messy? Make sure we put this on in the correct way. I'm just gonna try to make it tight. I don't need a line. Okay, try to crank that. nice little radius on that side there. Now we're gonna do the same thing with this top part. Got this patch panel and let's take a look. I fit it in here. Looks pretty dang snazzy. So with the dash integrated with the little bead roll here, the little radius, the radius here, that fits nice. Drops in, there's a bracket right here we can bolt to. There's a bracket obviously up here. We've got one little patch panel here. This is gonna push back into that bracket and then we'll do a patch panel here that's removable. That way we can, this is all gonna be removable. Only thing that won't is the dash. We'll kind of finalize the brackets here where this caps off and then we're gonna secure it to this extension we made here. But if you look at even the console, can't really get in here, but this radius is really nice around here, down in there, back towards the transmission tunnel. And we got this side, if you guys can see over here. Overall, man, it looks really good. I'm really happy with this. So we got some cleanup to do. This is the piece for the top. It kind of plugs in here. I'll get this rewrapped in the same upholstery, but this will kind of cover that stuff. It'll all kind of tie in. So we're making good progress. I like it. We'll clean this up a little bit. I'll sand it down, do some finishing touches. I'll tap and bolt in everything so everything is secure, and then I'll probably tack in. Everything in this console is just being held by clamps. So I'll probably tack it in all around here, smooth it in, make sure it's pushed in tight. How I'm gonna get this upholstered is I'll cut these little support brackets off I made here because I can reach them from the interior. Where is it? One here, one up here. I'll be able to pull this whole piece off, get it upholstered, slide it back down, and then I'll just end up putting some kind of bolt or threaded nut in here where I can line it up and then weld everything from the interior once it's upholstered. So I think that's a good option, or we'll just do it ourselves. I don't have a sewing machine and I don't want to you know, get into that much of it, but we'll see. Maybe some of that stuff we can wrap ourselves with some foam and leather and whatnot. So we'll get into it. We'll finish it up. I'll clean it all up, paint it down so it doesn't flash rust, maybe get everything the same color and take a look at it. So she's looking good. All right, boys. Well, the dash is pretty much body worked. We got all the major stuff, the seams. There's still some touch-up stuff. Again, it's gonna be kind of wrapped. Let's take a look at what we got here. So, put some steel covering on it just to kind of get everything one uniform color. It's not perfect. Like I said, we're gonna wrap it, and we still need to do some bodywork stuff, but everything's one color, kind of helps uniform, see what everything looks like. So in review, made this panel here. We tipped some edges, did some stuff, probably put F100 there. We bead rolled the side of the infotainment center, little housing right there. We did this side here, that's tacked in place. This panel is just clecoed in right now. And then we just did the dash. So we kind of filled in holes. You can still see some marks here and some sanding marks and whatnot. So again, it's not perfect, but it at least is one color. We know where we kind of need to prep it. It's not gonna flash rust. It's probably good enough to cover with leather too, so we'll see, but I'll still probably clean up some of these little things here and whatnot. But man, it looks good. All uniform. It's kind of flowing. We've got some space down here. I'm gonna put our gauges. We got a factory oil pressure and water temp gauge, I believe. We'll make a little bracket so we have those two gauges popped out of there, and then we're gonna tie this into the center console here so we can wrap everything uniformly. The headlight control, we'll probably put that down here or up here. I don't know, we'll see. That needs to get mounted in. The gauge cluster, that's gonna be probably something we're gonna tackle shortly. We're gonna utilize the switch, which is right here, to control the gauge cluster, all the factory performance stuff, line lock, launch control, whatnot. Kind of cut a little hole here to mount this, which is just our rain sensor. So it's got automatic rain wipers, just runs them when the rain comes up. Oh man, I just realized I cut myself. So, but yeah, overall, man, I couldn't be happier. This is, you know, we've got to cap the corners in, but overall, looks really good. I'm really liking how it turned out. The clecos, I'm gonna replace those clecos on that driver's side with, or I'm sorry, yeah, the clecos with these nutserts. If you guys aren't familiar with nutserts, they're really cool. You can get a pretty cheap little Astro pneumatic set on eBay or Amazon or whatever internet store you want to go to. But it's basically a nutsert, it's just a gun. You kind of have like this, you screw this right here, different size tips, and then different nutserts, but you screw in these little caps, these little gold looking caps here, and you'll drill a hole to match this diameter. You'll put it in, lock the wrench down, and it basically crimps this little screw-in connection. So you now, instead of trying to drill and tap, you have a kind of built-in little nut right here. So nutserts, pretty cool stuff. But we'll replace those clecos with nutserts, keep cracking away at some of the gauge stuff and getting everything tied in where we can use all those modern features on this 63 unibody. That's going to end it for today's episode. So as always, guys, thanks for watching. God bless, and long live hot rodding.